Hi, Jordan.
Right. Hey, Thalia, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing really good.
That's beautiful. I'm happy to hear it.
Excited to be here.
Yes, welcome to the disco, my friend.
Oh,
It's great to see you.
thank you.
Um, so we're gonna have a nice little chat today. But first, for the sake of the people, who is Jordan Tyler? Who is that?
Yeah, so I'm Jordan Tyler. I am 23. I'm from Atlanta, specifically the East Side, and I would say I am a musician. I'm a creative, and I just have a passion for storytelling, really. That's me.
Beautiful. Well, I hope the people have heard that. Good to see you. Good to meet you. So we're chatting today because on June 9th, something happened. Yes, and that something is called terms and conditions. Why this project? Why June 9th? Why now? Yeah, tell me more about that.
Um, I feel like it's so many things, and it's funny how I feel like timing just really plays a role in all of this. But I mean, all of the songs that I worked on the project are things that I've thought about for at least the past maybe 4 or 5 years. I feel like it just kind of explores everything I've been through since kind of entering a new phase of life called adulthood. And
Whatever that means.
even, yeah, right. And even the date, like June 9th, after I released it, I realized that it dropped the same day as Control by SZA, who's like one of my favorite artists of all time. And I just thought it was like one of those synchronicities, when something just happens when it's supposed to. Because June 9th wasn't even the original date, but it all happened when it was supposed to happen. So, yeah.
That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So more on terms and conditions. A lot of what we've been exploring on the disco is about thoughtfulness and just like how being thoughtful can impact the life that you live. So I'm interested in what role thoughtfulness played in terms and conditions. Specifically, kind of what was top of mind for you in that creative process. Maybe like what were you considering the most while you were making this project?
I would say, I mean, really, thoughtfulness had everything to do with this project. I knew that I didn't want to just put out anything. And I mean, there were a lot of times where you could say, like, I was overthinking in terms of the writing process and the recording process. But I think it's one of those things where, like, I know what it is that I'm listening for. And so when I hear it, like, that's when I'll know, okay, that's what it is right there. So I just have to keep searching until I find the thing. Um, and I think that's important. I'm really big on like being intentional, and it was really important to me to do everything with intention without like with this whole process. So yeah.
Interesting. That actually is a beautiful segue into the next question, which is so since this is like a auditory like art expression, right? Like, this is some of music that you can listen to. What? Tell me more about your ear. Like, what do you listen to? What do you listen for? Who do you listen to? And how has like what your ear is attracted to? How has that informed what this project eventually came to be?
It's a good question. Well, I think just having the background of being a musician, so like I grew up in band playing saxophone since I was like 8, and I still play to this day. And I think just having that kind of formal training really kind of shaped my ear and just my ability to listen. And then in terms of like just the overall artistry, people like SZA again or J. Cole, I'm a big fan of his. Um, Really, just a lot of the artists that I grew up listening to, I tried to, I guess, take the best parts from all of them and try to kind of combine it into something new that sounds like unique to me.
Interesting. Can you name some of those parts? I'm interested. Like what specifically about SZA's music is really like what's talking to you, or like Jake or anybody else's that is informing this project?
I think when it comes to SZA, it's like her cadences. I
Interesting.
found that when I first listened to Control, it almost threw me off because she was singing, but in this kind of hip hop like rapping cadences that weren't predictable, and I wanted that element in my music, like nothing that was easy in the sense that you could tell what was coming next. I wanted to keep people interested and just find a lot of different pockets. And I think in terms of melodies, like people like Drake, who I've listened to like since day one, and I think he's always had a really good ear for melodies, and I try to incorporate that into my music as well.
Interesting. That's a very, very interesting thing. Cool. Well, thanks. Another big theme that's been on the disco recently is community. Can you tell me more about what role community played in this particular project and kind of what it plays in your life as an artist, life as a person? Yeah, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think, I mean, because this is an idea I've had in my head for so long, and I think there's no way I would have been able to do this without having a team of people around me to encourage me and to teach me. And that really started when I found Bravo Ocean Studios. And just like working here, I've been able to learn so much. And that community has meant everything to me. It's been really the foundation to my entire career. And I mean, I owe everything to everybody here. So yeah, community is really big for me.
Beautiful. So for folks, specifically like not necessarily musical artists, but like just artists in general, people, creatives, whoever, if folks are trying to build their own community, find the right people to be creative with, to get feedback from, what advice would you have for them for like getting in touch with the right people, finding the right people for them?
Yeah, honestly, I would say it all starts with you. I think I've definitely been in certain situations where you feel like you want more connection with people, you want to find that community, but it's one thing to talk about being creative and talking about your plans. It's another thing to actually take the action to get there. So I think the first step is start small and actually make things and then just share them with people. And also don't underestimate, the people that you already have now. I think we're always kind of looking to find something better, but there's so much value in the people that you've met over the years. And it's not, I think it's wise to investigate your relationships and really see what's there because I'm pretty sure I would say most people there's someone there that can help you out. So, yeah.
I see. But I think a whole part of that is like asking to people that are already in community with for help, in addition to like meeting new people and like opening yourself up to that. That requires all that requires vulnerability. So like what does that mean to you? Like how do you feel really tapped into becoming more vulnerable in this process of this project?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, I think to be an artist, you have to be vulnerable, and it's never really an easy thing. Um, you just gotta, I guess, create the space and I guess give yourself permission to really do that. And I guess that's why community is so important because you kind of need people that you can trust. And you gotta approach it with the sense of curiosity and wonder as opposed to fear.
Mm.
And I think that's easier said than done.
No, for sure.
I
For
still
sure.
struggle with that, but I think you owe it to yourself to really like double down on the things that make you you, because that's the only way that you're gonna stand out and bring something new to the table is to just be you. Yeah.
Period. That's it. That's beautiful. Um, Thank you for sharing that. So there's a song that I heard on Terms and Conditions. I think it's track 6, and it's called "Everything Is Temporary." And there's a line there that is, "What do you do when it's time and you're not ready? Everything is temporary. Don't want to go. No, I'm not ready." And I think after that line, I kind of heard some references to like the effects of the pandemic on your HBCU experience at Howard, and just like how that 2 years are basically taken from everyone on the planet. But that was a change that was like you couldn't control, right? Like it was something that you could not have any control over. I'm interested in what advice you may have for people who are navigating change that they're just not ready for. Specifically in the context of this song, but like just in general, how do you feel about moving forward when you just do not want to go forward?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think on one hand, you just have to, I guess, give yourself grace and time to actually like mourn what was. Because I know for me, even having to come home, I didn't really get like a real senior year of college and, all the things that come with that. And there's definitely like a mourning process of letting it go and like accepting, okay, this is what life is at the moment. And then I think also it's maybe just staying occupied and trying new things because I think sometimes you just sit idle, you can kind of go on a downward spiral. But just by staying as connected as you can, calling people, checking up on them, um, and just, yeah, little things, trying new things that kind of speak to you and try to connect with yourself, really.
Beautiful. Do you have an example? Like, what's the most recent thing you did for the first time, and how was that?
Well, I think one thing I did during the pandemic, I did a lot of new things. Really, I started meditating a lot, which was really helpful. I started reading, which I hadn't really done before. Um, and I remember I was still in school at the time, but I did this like photography project, and I actually learned that I really enjoy like going places by myself and just kind of exploring, like, I don't know, taking a camera and just it's just a different experience as opposed to like hanging out with your friends, because then even if you love your friends, it's like you're kind of depending on what everyone else wants to do. But when you're spending time with your own company and just learning to enjoy that, I think you really get to kind of rediscover who you are, and just it's really freeing actually to go out in the world and go places by yourself. But yeah.
That's beautiful. Is there a particular place that you'd like to chat about that you had
Um,
experience with?
I remember, I mean, a lot of times I would just go, I would walk around downtown. I remember I would go to like different like areas I hadn't been to before, and just to explore. I like going new places. I don't really care where it is. Just to, I guess for me, it just gives me a sense of like agency. Like I can actually like be in control of my life, and I don't have to be like told where to be. I can just find somewhere and go.
Period. I love that. That is beautiful. Um, so we've chatted a little bit about like your experience with different mediums, with like saxophone, playing in band, or doing some photography. I think you studied film at Howard. Is that what we studied? Beautiful. And now here we are at Bravo Ocean Studios. So you kind of just it seems like you have a lot of experience with a lot of different art mediums. And I'm very curious, like, what other art forms have you been exploring recently, or if you, have you done it at all? And if you have not, maybe like which ones are you trying to like dabble in here and there, maybe?
Yeah, I would say I feel like I'm always kind of in between music and like film and photography. I just really like both of those. Outside of that, maybe I guess cooking is kind of an art form
It
in a
sure
way.
is. That's yes.
It's something I don't get to do often, but when I do, I find it's almost like therapeutic in a way. Especially like when I'm in the kitchen by myself and like no one else can tell me like what to do. It's just me, because it really is a creative thing. Like you're putting together all these ingredients, and like even if I spend like 2 hours in the kitchen, it doesn't really feel like it. And it's just it's nice to, especially even if it's healthy food too, because you're kind of like you're giving yourself nourishment and the ability to like move forward in a positive way. So yeah, I would say cooking is probably another art form. I like food, so
Period. So I'm going to ask you a question that I have not written down. Um, there is probably a person listening, maybe not listening. I don't know. There's somebody in the world somewhere has the best project they have ever made this far, sitting on their computer, um, not uploading it, not letting people hear it, see it, whatever, because of perhaps they're afraid, perhaps they're nervous, perhaps whatever. Um, if they're listening right now, what do you have to say to them to get it off of their computer?
when you're thinking about sharing your art, especially when you're first starting, just think about it like you were sharing it with one person or just with the people that you know. Um, it doesn't have to feel like you're, I guess, giving it away to like billions of people. It's really make it for yourself first and foremost, and then after that, let it go so you can like move on to the next thing. I think it's important as an artist not to get so attached to any individual piece of work, but just be attached to the process of actually making it. So that way you don't feel like this one thing you made, even if it is the best thing in the world, but there's so much more to who you are. Like you're more than just that one piece of art that you create. It's like you have so much more to say, and you just gotta be, you gotta trust in that you actually have way more. Like you're so much bigger than you even think. So just try to reduce it a little bit in your mind. But yeah.
Lower the stakes. Yes, that is amazing. So terms and conditions came out this summer. Yes, June 9th, I believe. What's next for Jordan Tyler? Where can we expect to see? Like, what's next that you can talk about that you want to talk about?
Yeah, definitely just, always making more music, of course. Um, I definitely just want to continue to expand as an artist. This is kind of like my first venture into doing this. And I want to, eventually start doing shows and performing and really, connecting with people like in a real physical space. so they can, vibe out to the music. I think that's definitely what's up next.
That's beautiful. Exciting. We're very excited to see it. Um, and in true disco fashion, my final three questions for you are a series of top threes. So this is take your time, but it's the top three moments, top three lessons, and top three songs of the year this far. We can start. Let's start with top three moments. What are the top three moments from January 1st to today?
Okay, two come to mind. One, so I think putting out the EP, that's definitely number one. And I would say mainly because it's like, it's one thing to have an idea in your head, but to actually go and, make it and stay committed to making it and then releasing it, like that's not a small thing. So that would be number one. And number two, I took a trip to LA this summer for the first time. I never been out there, and I don't know. I just feel like Los Angeles has always kind of just spoke to me. I definitely could see myself living there one day. So it's just nice to like travel and just actually, see it and just put my feet on the ground on the West Coast. And then third thing, I would say, yeah, just those two for now. I can't really think of another one.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Top three lessons. What have we learned since August or January 1st?
Um, I would say this is something kind of recently that I learned. It's like when it comes to, you just gotta like ask for the things that you want and just don't be afraid. I think like something I deal with is anxiety, and so it can be hard sometimes because it kind of warps your perception on so many things. But the only really remedy to that is to take action, and so I'm learning just to take baby steps and actually just put one foot in front of the other, and that's how you get things done. And it doesn't have to be like perfect. Like it's not gonna meet the idea of what's ever in your head. It's like you can take the step, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Other lessons, I would say, like you gotta be the person that you wanna like see in the world. I think, and maybe it's a generational thing, but I feel like people our age sometimes we're like waiting for someone to come and I don't know save us or like say here's your opportunity or like. But it's important to understand the power that you do have over your life. Like there are things you can control, and it's important to yeah, just start taking small actions and like practicing just certain behaviors that you want to get better at. Um, that's one thing I'm learning too. Like even when it comes to like interacting with new people, and once you realize too that other people are probably feeling the same way, so that can make you feel a little more comfortable when you want to approach a new person or find yourself in a new environment. It's like, yeah, just go for it. And any other lesson, I would say, um, just like trust is a big thing. Like trust with yourself, trusting like who you are. I think sometimes it's easy to like compare yourself to other people, or it's a balance between wanting to be better but also like accepting who you are now. And I guess I'm just learning to trust that I'm doing the right thing because I think especially being an artist, there's no blueprint to getting to where you want to go. It's not like being a doctor, and not to say being a doctor is easy by any means, but it's like you get your undergrad,
There
you
are
go to med
steps.
school. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
steps, but for this, it's like you got to make your own steps, and you just got to trust in those steps and really believe it, and just know that you're being supported, like not only by other people, but I don't know if you, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, like you're being supported by something else. It's not just you by yourself. And so all you really have to do is just like do your part, like bring something to the table, and everything else is gonna take care of itself. Like even me sitting right here is like I made a decision. I think around the pandemic to start writing music, and that led to me being right here, right now, just because of that one decision. And there's a lot of power in that. So I think people, I would just encourage people to understand that, like you can do it. The vision that you have in yourself of like who you want to be is not, it's not just a dream. Like it's a real thing. It's like low key, I see it as it's already happened. All you have to do is just align yourself on a path that's going to get you there. It's not so distant. Like you're way closer to the things that you want than you think. I would say that'd probably be the last lesson. Yeah.
That is beautiful. Somebody gonna need that. Somebody's going to need that. Top three songs. Let's get them off the dome. Just
Top three songs. That's a hard one. Oh, there's a song, "I Wish You Roses" by Kali Uchis. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Yeah, I really love that song. I don't know. It sounds so good, and I love the message behind it. Um, or other songs. I'm sure there's a SZA song in there. Yeah, probably "Ghost in the Machine."
okay.
I really like that song because it's like SZA's writing is just like top notch to me.
Period.
Basically, the song is just about like living in this era of like technology and kind of feeling like everything is so kind of plastic to a degree, and how it's like all we do is have these conversations that aren't even real. It's kind of like that whole existential type
We love
vibe.
existential,
Yeah,
angsty music.
yeah. And then the last song, there's one song I learned on my saxophone.
Oh, cool.
It's a Ari Lennox song, "Chicago Boy."
Mm.
I just really, and it's funny because like my brother's a really big Ari Lennox fan, so he would know more than me. But like, I just really, that song really spoke to me just because it's really soulful, and it's like it's such a story. Like you can instantly feel how much of a story it is, the way it's written, and also just the instrumentation, like the trumpets and the horns. Like that's what made me want to learn it on saxophone. So yeah, I'll say those three.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for hitting our top threes. That's all my questions I have for you. Do you have any last words? Any last thoughts on your project, on who you are right now in this moment today? Any other words?
Well, thank you first and
Yeah.
foremost
Thank
for
you.
doing this. Like, it's definitely a dream come true. Like seriously. And I would say I'm just excited for like more people to hear the music, and I'm excited to really like connect with people on this because I think part of chasing your dreams or creating art, it can be very isolating at times, especially when it's more of like an individual art form like music. It kind of starts with just the writing, and it's kind of just you and your thoughts. And so I'm excited to connect with people on a real level and actually have more conversations around this, because I feel like the music that I make is kind of like a commentary on just where we are right now in this era, and I'm just interested to actually engage in real dialogue with people and see what they're thinking, and kind of like you said earlier, community,
Yeah.
and just beginning to grow the community that I already have. But yeah.
Speaking of growing the community, where can the people find you on the internet?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram at Jordan Tyler. It's spelled a little weird, so it's JVRDXN_Tyler, TYLER. And then all my music is available on all major streaming platforms right now. Um, and yeah, that's where you can find me.
Well, thanks, Jordan, for this beautiful conversation. It was lovely to chat. Very excited for your project. Everybody go stream it, please. It's very, very good. And if you're interested in more about the disco, Jordan, it exists. It's w-2d.com. There's everything in there from, I don't know, Alvin Ailey reviews to mid-century murder mysteries, and more podcasts about breakfast, if that's something that interests you. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this entire ecosystem uh, of work, of conversations. And yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
for sure.